coming down from the break. We are coming in here. I'm obviously light VIP, and I'm not with anybody, just solo casting this entire thing today. And we are going to be jumping into our semi-finales.
That is not how I sound.
That's exactly how you sound.
Hello, welcome, Yaku, welcome. I am glad that I'm no longer alone. A fellow CranKy Duckling has joined me today, so welcome, Yaku, welcome to the semi-finals. The semis.
Indeed, the semi-finals that we were robbed of. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Your teammates. Anyway, yes, we're jumping into this PvZ semi-finals. Both players who kind of speed ran their way through from what I saw. So, what I've seen so far today, and without further ado, let's get into it. You're an ancient cistern in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea, representing CranKy Gaming. So nice when we're in charge of the intros again. It is Dark.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming as they are teammates. It is herO.
Oh boy.
Yeah, as you said, we haven't seen these two face off in a little bit. I was mentioning earlier that for the past couple of weeks, ESL Asia and the KSL and Kung Fu Cup and all that stuff, well, not really Kung Fu Cup, but the Korean weekly tournaments, they have been a little bit light when it comes to signups, and a big reason for that was Gamers 8. The week leading into Gamers 8, all the Koreans were traveling, and the week past Gamers 8, all the Koreans were coming back. Yeah, because that players like Dark, players like herO, Byun, Cure, they just weren't available to play in these online tournaments. But now everyone has settled in, everyone is back home, and mate, now we have just these insanely stacked brackets.
One day we'll have airplanes that have like really good internet connection.
Oh, that'll be crazy.
And then we can have them sign up while they're in the plane.
That's dangerous, right? Like, I say that's dangerous because of
like the fuel.
No, that means that we can cast
It'll
from the
drain
plane.
The battery.
We can.
Oh!
that's what my mind is going. That means I can cast on the move, Papi. That means.
Yeah, we'll be casting from economy.
There you go.
Right next to the baby that's crying.
Right next to the crying baby.
We're in between a crying baby and like what's the other stereotype?
Two crying babies.
And the old guy who keeps trying to talk to you.
True. True. Oh god, not like this.
We call him Seal Mold.
As we are getting into this, and so far standard opener here from Dark Hatch Gas Pool, Force Take the Unnatural Natural. herO is mixing it up though. Was a Stargate opener, but the first unit, not an Oracle.
Yeah, Void Ray first coming out. We have seen this a little bit coming out from our Protoss players who have been experimenting. Obviously, was it oh Christ, I don't remember his name, but there was
Nice.
Was it Nice
Yep.
who just kept spamming Void Rays? Yeah, that was Nice's style, but somehow I feel like herO isn't really one to do that. There we go. It is going to be a Void Ray into Oracles.
Exactly. herO, he has been known to rush into Sky Toss, but that's kind of, it's less mass Void Ray and more like we go into a Fleet Beacon and a second Stargate, and we go into carrier production instead, which is hopefully not what we're going to be seeing here today out of herO, as he's just using this Void Ray to just fend off any kind of overlords and just, keep Dark guessing.
Yeah, it's interesting how we've kind of came full circle when it comes to the anti-Overlord unit, right? First we had the Void Ray, then we had the Phoenix, or actually I think we had the Phoenix and then the Void Ray, and then the Phoenix again, and now most recently we're seeing Zerg players, or Protoss players, grab Void Rays instead, but not mass Void Ray, just the initial Void Ray to get rid of the Overlord.
Yeah, and I think a big reason for that is because Sky Toss is kind of back in a way, and you can rush into it, and it is becoming a little bit more prevalent. So this does kind of like, kind of fake out your opponents a little bit does kind of put that in the back of their mind, and it does mean that Dark has to be that much more on notice as to what's going on. Meanwhile, back at home, did go for a fast +1 melee as to be expected. He is going for a bit of a faster Baneling Nest though, so it is a safety Baneling Nest in case there was a Twilight Council follow-up. He'll be ready for Glaive Adepts.
Unfortunately for Dark, Glaives is not quite what he's up against here, but regardless, he is still getting +1 melee, he is still getting a lot of lings, and that should work pretty well against the Blink Stalkers coming out from herO.
Yeah, that's 24 lings in production. It looks like once Dark has dealt with the aggression, and he's sustaining losses, by the way. 6 drones are going to be going down. Very nicely done here by herO, but the army is moving out across the map. The queens are waddling out as well. Dark wants to deny and kill not just a third, but herO himself.
Yeah, this is a massive commitment coming out here from Dark. You don't waddle your queens this far off of creep unless you need that anti-air to really cripple your Protoss opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this has been spotted by herO. He's aware of what's going on. There we go. He's throwing down shield batteries. 3 shield batteries and a cannon are on the way in between his natural and his third. He is getting ready for the defense, but Banelings are also being morphed in so far unnoticed here by herO.
Yeah, he knows that something is up, but I don't think he's really grasped the situation that he's up against. One cannon will finish up here by the third base location, but that's hardly going to be enough. Shield battery goes down as it's being overcharged to these +1 melee lings. Dark is being chased back a little bit, but now the Banelings are starting to get into that mineral line. Oracles are very quickly running out of energy, and every Stalker in this third base location does fall. You have a couple of reinforcements in the back line for herO, and it looks like it's just about going to be enough here.
Yeah, really interesting choice out of Dark to actually focus the Banelings on the army itself. And he does kill a lot of those Stalkers. Good control here, target firing those Oracles. 14 probes go down. The entire mineral line has fallen. It looks like herO will survive the first wave. He will clean this up, but he did sustain a lot of losses. Despite that, he still holds onto that base, and he has a comparable worker count to Dark. Dark was very committed to that, and he did not do enough.
Yeah, now we see Dark starting to drone up hard. I mean, he took out a mineral line, but like you said, that was a lot of effort to put herO on an even worker count as Dark.
It really was. And now herO, he's going into Skytoss. So we have +1 air attack on the way. We have charge. We have a lot of upgrades here. We'll see what kind of direction herO goes for. Meanwhile, has he overextended? There are a lot of links to defend, and there we go. He does force the recall.
And just like that, we're back to square one.
Yeah,
everybody's macroing again.
Yeah, I will say herO does have quite an advantage right now. He has the better economy. He did lose a lot of site defense, so he has to focus on rebuilding that, and Dark is still looking for damage. But when I saw +1 air attack, yep, there it is. We have the Fleet Beacon and the Stargate on the way. herO knows that he has a lead, and he's going to capitalize on that lead by just rushing into Skytoss.
Might as well. He knows that Dark isn't going to be able to threaten him whatsoever right now. He did, go in with a Haluk. He confirms that Dark is droning up, is focusing on his macro. There's no way he's going to have any map presence that is threatening to the Blink Stalkers of herO.
Yeah, exactly, and herO shouldn't be moving out either. It looks like he's getting ready for a Zealot run-by, but he has to be really careful with these Stalkers. If he does lose his army, he doesn't really have much at home to defend. He doesn't really have any hijack units, no Colossi, no Immortals, no Disruptors, so herO does have to be very careful with the army that he has. It looks like he's just getting in position to expand and take it forward.
Just like so. Dark, meanwhile, just setting up his avenues of attack. He is switching things up a little bit, getting +1 range weapons. He is going to be focusing more on a Lingbane Roach army, which is typical Dark things, really. But once again, I think we're seeing a unit composition or a timing that's really meant to kill herO right then and there, because otherwise, I don't see Dark having any answer to the carriers.
Yeah, he's still recovering. Thankfully, he just scouted. His Lings actually saw the Cybercore researching, so as soon as he saw that researching, he threw down a Spire. He knows now Skytoss is on the way. He has the information he needs and is getting ready for Corruptors. Thankfully, a very fast Spire here, or an earlier reaction for him. herO, he wasn't able to just like hide his tech and get away with it. So Dark is also getting ready, but as you mentioned, like he can't really kill herO anytime soon. I don't think he can. He does have a lot of Lings though.
Got a lot of links, and maybe he can try to contain herO. And containing a Protoss player on 4 base is still pretty scary. You know, that is just enough of an economy to get one SkyToss army up and running.
Yeah, exactly. Like 4 bases is all herO really needs to max out, and Dark is aware of that. He knows that there's a lot of pressure on him. He's being very active with these links. He has roaches as well. It looks like Dark wants to try to make something happen with this army first. There we go. Corruptors are now on the way as well.
Yeah, he knows that with his ground army, he does need to get rid of a little bit of supply here. He needs to maximize the amount of damage he can do before the fight happens, because he needs that extra supply to get more Corruptors out. 14 of them are on the way, and we'll see if that's going to be enough. It's a very tough ask for a Zerg player to deal with SkyToss like this without any Vipers, without any Infestors, or really any Spellcasters other than Queens.
Yeah, I mean, as you kind of mentioned, Dark, he's still on Lair Tech. He doesn't have any Hive Tech available, doesn't have any Spellcasters available, so it's a very brute force army. It's very low tech. It can work, definitely, but as the game goes on longer, it's going to look worse and worse for Dark. As we do have a Zealot Runback coming in, is going to get cleaned up, but does deny some mining time here at the 3rd.
Not too bad, not too bad. Forces Dark to use up a couple of his Banelings defensively rather than to harass or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly, as the Stalkers have arrived. They do get eyes on the Corruptor, so now Dark is fully aware of the army composition. Sorry, herO is fully aware of the army composition of Dark, and he is just preparing back at home, getting into Void Ray production to help support himself, to help deal with those Corruptors. A lot of Archons on the ground. A Storm is done as well.
And we see a massive storm connecting on just about every single Zergling and almost every Baneling as well. Finally, Dark gets one massive connection here in the mineral line, but he's used up his entire Lingbane force. Corruptors have been dealt with by the Archons and by the Stalkers, and now Dark is very much on the back foot.
Yeah, and now herO, he's going for a massive counterattack. Dark, he threw away his army trying to break that 3rd base. We saw big storms, not just on the ground army, but the storms actually connected with the Corruptors as well. Very little anti-air going on here, but herO doesn't press his advantage. He is going to back off. He's going to respect the Baneling count of his opponent, and he's just going to focus on rebuilding and remaxing.
Yeah, I guess the last thing you really want to do in a situation like this is to overextend into Queens.
Yeah, exactly. So herO, he's going to take this slow and steady, just building up the carrier count once again, working on his upgrades. Should be looking to expand and take a 5th base soon. Dark has remaxed, but again, I'm still a little bit surprised. No Infestation Pit, no Hive. Just now being thrown down.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that Dark does like to do. He slips in with his Lings, and he's looking to do a lot of damage here. Forces a recall out of herO. Very unfortunate right now. He even borrows, because why the hell not? He knows herO has no robo facility. He knows he has no observer, so he can actually force a lot of units to be kept here.
Yeah, and there we go. With the revelation, the Lings do finally get cleaned up. At the same time, here comes that main army trying to bust into the natural. Good focus firing on the Cyber Core that will deny +3 air attack. Oh, but Dark has to be careful not to lose too much.
Very much so. I mean, right at the start of that fight, the Archons and the Carriers, I believe, or the Archons and the Storm, were able to completely eliminate just about every single Baneling before they were able to connect with anything.
Yeah, exactly. As once again, Lings do slip on in. They do manage to burrow as well. And upon seeing that herO, he's got cannons on the way. Throwing down cannons, throwing down shield batteries in every one of his bases at the same time. Dark rotates over towards left-hand side once again with a mass Lingbane army. He's getting on in.
Yeah, we'll be able to intercept these probes as we try to evacuate as well. hero's army fairly immobile, but they are able to get here in time, chasing things back. Once again, though, Dark getting quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, he's just pulling herO apart with the mass Lingbane harass. He almost gets a kill on the 5th base as well. As the Lings, they do unburrow, they reburrow, they get another couple of probes. Really good, really fast harassment here coming in from Dark. Even morphing in some Banelings. 14 probes go down. Ooh, and he's buying he's buying himself some time, enough time to actually tech on up and actually get into that hive tech, get into the infestation pit.
Yeah, I think this is probably the first time in this game where Dark actually has the economic advantage over herO.
Yeah, Exactly, Dark with a very healthy worker count, but herO has a death ball. That's the problem right now. The Hive isn't done, which means no Vipers. The Hive just now starts. We do see Dark going for a massive counter attack here, busting into the natural. herO doesn't turn around.
That he does not. He's going for the full-on base trade, and he knows he can always recall if he needs to. These Corruptors are pretty threatening, but what are they going to do against a massive ball of Archons and Void Rays?
Exactly, what can you do? But herO is losing a lot of bases in the the Corruptors are able to bypass some of those Archons. They get on top of the carriers. Every single carrier goes down. Very good positioning. All these Archons, they weren't there. They were not there to support those carriers.
But you know what they were doing? They were taking out bases. They were taking out queens. They were taking out drones, and we're in full-on base trade territory right now.
Yeah, and herO's in a lot of danger because he has one base remaining. Dark still has a lot to work with right now as, yeah, this is the last mining base of herO. Banelings are waddling on in. They don't quite make it into the mineral line. Meanwhile, the main base of herO, it's forfeit at this point.
Pretty much. Dark actually splitting up his forces pretty effectively, I would say, so that he's attacking the buildings of every single base at a time. herO once again decides not to turn around, which may be the right call. I mean, I do think that herO has a better army, but it's a very, very slow army. By the time it's able to actually get back to his side of the map, who knows whether or not it's actually going to be able to defeat the army of Dark, assuming Dark doesn't evacuate and attack the other buildings that herO has left.
Yeah, I think herO just wins. I think he just has a better army overall. I don't think Dark can ever fight this. As long as herO has enough energy for a recall, and he does, like, he should be safe back at home as well.
Well, we'll see about that. Dark, once again, I appreciate the burrow play coming out from him because he knows that herO has no mobile detection. Dark right now is hoping that he can kind of isolate the ground army from the Void Rays and then try to get something done from there, but it's a lot easier said than done. At the same time, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to caustic spray down the final nexus of herO. I mean, he should know that that's the only base that herO has left.
Yeah, but I think enough time has passed where, like, we have more cannons and shield batteries. Like, this is a very fortified position, and herO is making his way back home. Here we go, Dark. He is going for it. He's going for that caustic spray on that nexus.
He has to. He has to right now. Recall does get popped, and a battery overcharge. Will be keeping it alive. Ooh, not the best positioning for a recall, but in the end, it looks like herO does have a good enough army to beat this back. The Nexus goes down, but I tell you what, like, herO still has buildings alive. GG is called, and herO will take a game number one that was much closer than it really should have been.
GG, well played. Dark was on the back foot for a lot of that game, especially after the failed Ling Queen Bane all-in that he went for to try to break the third base. From that moment, he was on the back foot, and herO took full advantage of that. Very wise choice of herO to immediately start transitioning into Sky Toss from that moment. And then, of course, we went into the base trade, and that was probably the best chance that Dark had at winning that game is committing to a base trade.
Without a doubt. I mean, even then, it still looked a little bit shaky. I think if Dark did commit a little bit earlier to using his Corruptors on the final nexus of herO, then we would be in a bit of a different position. You know, herO would have had to make a decision. Of either I attack the buildings of Dark quicker or I turn around right now. And yeah, but we saw that because Dark didn't go for that, because herO always knew he had that one recall remaining, he could just fortify that base, and he knew he had the better army, so he could at any moment just recall back home and deal with Dark's army.
Yeah, exactly. At any moment he could recall. He always had that kind of ace up his sleeve whenever he needed it. And as we saw, he did just have the better army overall, the Death Wall. There was some good moments for Dark, like when he picked off the carriers. That was very good army movement out of Dark, just out positioning herO. But clearly he needed more than that. Even if he had killed all the carriers and even all of the Archons, even all the Void Rays, he had no answer to the ground army. He had no answer to the Archons.
Yeah. A handful of roaches, unfortunately, isn't gonna cut it in that scenario, even if all the Void Rays were taken out. But regardless, we are going to be continuing our series now on to Gresvan. We're here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning. All the way in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Dragon Kai Z Gaming. We have Dark.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressvan, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Brodos player representing CranKy Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is herO.
It's very rare nowadays, but that we see this. But Dark is forced to take the unnatural natural here in the CVP.
Is forced to take the unnatural natural there in the end. So yeah, a nice little start here from herO just to disrupt the opening here of Dark. Not the biggest of deals, but I'm sure Dark is a little bit perturbed by that. Would have preferred his natural base.
Dark clearly not an Eric enjoyer.
Clearly. As he has been known to go for 15 and 14 hatches in the past, but I guess not this game.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he did that on Ancient Cistern, but not on Gressvan for whatever reason. We are, of course, on Gressvan, so we're having two very macro maps in a row. The kicker here would be if the ace match is going to be on altitude, but we'll see if you even get to that point.
Yeah, we'll see if we do manage to get there in game number 3, if we do get there, of course. And I do kind of want to favor herO a little bit more on Gressvan. I do think Ancient Cistern is a great map for Zurich, especially when it comes to engaging in the center of the map. On a map like Gressvan, we all know about the defensive features of this map, the defensive capabilities, the bonus that herO will have if he tries to go for a more turtle style. Now, to be fair, herO is a very aggressive player, but in recent weeks, as we saw in the previous game, we have seen that at any moment, if herO ever gets an advantage, if he ever gets a lead, he is more than happy to start transitioning into Skytoss.
Yeah, as evident in game number 1. We'll see if we ever get to that point here, if Dark does decide to be hyper-aggressive again 2 games in a row. I would doubt that we'll see something like that come out from Dark, where he will waddle his queens across the map, but we have to expect him to, pull something off with roaches at the very least. Go around patrolling, maybe try to deny a third base with them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll see if Dark plans on being aggressive early on once again to kind of stop herO before he can really get going, as herO for the second game in a row is going for a Void Ray first.
Yeah, interesting choice once again. Just really wants to get rid of the Overlords as quickly as possible. And I guess the benefit of the Void Ray as well is that you don't really have to be as conservative with your Oracles either. Typically the Protoss player wants to go Oracles, not just to go across the map to harass, but also to give them a little bit of safety back home in case of any Ling encounters like so. But as we can see, one Void Ray going to be enough to deal with a moderate amount of Lings.
Yeah, as you were saying, right, especially because it's not an energy-based unit, so you don't have to be worried about triggering and untriggering and just dealing with your pulsar beam of the Oracle to defend back at home. It is a little bit more safe and secure. Oh, as herO is going to be quickly transitioning into his Twilight Council, into his Forge. I assumed it was going to be something a little bit more aggressive, but okay, he's going for the Forge.
Okay. +1 blink should be on the table right now. I'm not sure if it's, from the perspective of herO, I'm not sure if you'd be annoyed or you'd be glad from game number 1 that Dark pulled off, because obviously he wasn't quite able to get into his game, right? He wasn't quite able to utilize his Blink Stalker control that we know him to, that he kind of became famous for. But he was able to go into Skytoss, which was something that he nowadays seems to prefer quite a bit more. He's not going for Blink Stalkers this time, though. Is actually going for charge, +1 charge.
Oh, interesting. So +1 charge, I mean, this is kind of utilized quite a lot as an alternate variation here instead of going for +1 blink. But what's interesting is that there's a second Forge, so he's going to be going for double upgrades here. So very gateway heavy from herO. He's going to have a very strong 1-1 and even stronger 2-2 timing with these 2 Forges.
Yeah, the Robo Facility finishes up right now, and if it was built a little bit earlier, I would have imagined, or I would have predicted herO to want to be a bit more defensive, but with this timing right now, when he is getting it after the second forge, like you said, Light, it's probably for a 1-1 or a 2-2 timing with his charge lots.
Yeah, exactly, and they can pack quite a punch as well, so yeah, really cool to see herO mixing it up the way that he is. Meanwhile, Dark is double expanding. He's looking to hopefully get one of these fourth bases up and running. He's still relying on Ling Bane, +1 melees on the way. Everything's looking pretty normal here out of Dark. His lair is now done, and yeah, we should be seeing a Roach Warren momentarily. We'll see if he does skip it, and so far he is. Oh my god.
Yeah, that is a very early infestation pick coming out from Dark. He is still getting allowed with Constitution, but he has not made a single Roach yet this game.
Yeah, bold move here by Dark. As soon as the lair is done, he is rushing into that infestation pit. This could be for a couple of things. This could be to just get into really fast Hive Tech to get into fast Vipers. This could be for just fast Adrenal Glands if he wants to be really Ling heavy. We have seen Dark be really Ling heavy on some of these larger maps like Ancient Cistern and Altitude. I haven't seen too much of it here on Greswan, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we do see that Warp Prism now finishing up here for herO, and that's exactly what that Robo Facility was meant to do. He is transitioning to Robo Bay, and he's not neglecting his High Templar either, so yeah, herO knows that he's not going to be able to end the game with this timing. He just wants to get as much damage as possible.
Exactly, as there's no vision here in the main base, there's no creep, so this is unscattered for the time being for Dark. At the same time, Hallucinations are looking for any kind of tech, and they do get eyes on the very fast Hive.
Very important scout right now for herO. He needs to do something, really. He needs to either deal a lot of drone damage, or if possible, it's a lot easier said than done, if possible, he might want to try to snipe the Hive as well, but now that Dark has caught on to that Warp Prism, he is very, very quick to respond. This is the advantage of going mass Ling Roach, is that you are able to defend very, very quickly between your bases.
Yeah, exactly, as he's able to keep up, and he's in position both in his main and his third base. Again, I'm really curious to see what kind of tech is thrown down with this Hive. We could go into Ultras, we could go into, again, just really fast Vipers instead, and Vipers would be amazing against this army of herO because he only has a couple of Disruptors, and again, Vipers are just a great unit to use against them to counteract them.
But you know what? It's gonna be neither, as Adrenal Glands is the first thing that Dark decides to get with his Hive Tech. Could also get +3 melee very, very quickly as well. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. He is focusing very much on Ling Bane Roach, which is what we kind of know him to do. I would be surprised if he doesn't eventually get to Ultimus, so.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go. We have Ling Bane coming in towards the northern portion of the map, but the Banelings, they do not make it in. They do get caught by that Stasis Trap. Looks like herO is going to be able to hold on and defend it. Meanwhile, his center base is also under threat. These Disruptors looking a little bit exposed. And Dark, he's looking to set up here for potentially a run by our surround, as herO, he's going for Sky Toss.
Well, that's the final evolution of literally any Protoss build, I suppose. Purification Nova does land on a huge chunk of the Roaches, but the follow-up with Nova not quite able to replicate that magic.
Yeah, as the Banelings, they do waddle in, they do roll into that mineral line. 7 probes go down, but herO is holding, and it looks like his plan here is just to hold, is just to defend, fortify himself. Look at all the cannons and shield batteries here at his third base. We're going to be seeing the same here at his center fourth base as well. And with that Fleet Beacon finishing, he should now be working towards, there it is. Oh my god, there's the -400, -400.
Yeah, I mean, you pointed out that he was getting the Fleet Beacon, but he actually delayed his additional starports until now.
Oh.
So the first thing he did decide to go to get was that Mothership -400, -400. Huge Purification Nova, getting just about every single Baneling, but I don't think that's going to be enough here for herO. He was caught mid-transition. This is a fantastic SimCity, but in the end, there's just way too much Zerg.
Yeah, 12 probes go down. You can see that herO, he's barely holding on. He just doesn't have a lot of units at all to defend. Again, he's spending so much money on that Mothership. Is it going to pay off? Of course, it will require Dark to have detection. He doesn't have any right now, so the Mothership can maybe make or break a fight, but it's still a long ways away.
I think it's a foregone conclusion. There's a reason why we call it the minus 400, minus 400. So it's a foregone conclusion whether it'll be worth it or not.
Yeah.
This base is going to be forfeit. Dark actually not focusing it down, just trying to attack the mineral lines and go for more juicier targets, which might be a little bit of an overextension here from Dark. He will get the Nexus in the end, though. So in the end, it was worth it.
Exactly. The base goes down. That's all that matters. Dark, he's happily mining here on an 81 worker count. He's got 5-6 bases. Like, he's chilling here. Even though he doesn't kill his opponent, he's happy to just back off, remax, rebuild, and go for another wave. Meanwhile, herO is stuck on 3 bases. And without a 4th up and running, he cannot afford a Skytoss transition. Even though he has 3 Stargates, he can't afford the carriers.
That he cannot. Not on 3-base economy like this. Once again, kind of making the mothership choice a little bit questionable.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to hold on for now, but we have Overlord Speed on the way. There's the Spire on the way as well. With the revelation of that mothership, I mean, that means that Dark knows that Skytoss transition is soon to be upon him. And this time, like, he's in a really comfortable position. There's nothing pressuring him to, you know, avoid Vipers and avoid the Hive. Like, these are tech structures that he already has. Like, he's yeah, in a pretty commanding position right now.
Indeed he is. And we see him not feeling pressured to keep up with the aggression. I mean, he is still sending a couple of lings out here and there just to check on the bases of herO, just to make sure that, you know, he is going to be contained on those 3 bases. But for the most part, Dark is just chilling back at home. He's just teching up, getting his Spire, as he knows that the Fleet Beacon and Skytoss transition is underway right now for herO.
Is on the way, and Dark, he's just looking to engage. He has remax, he has plenty of detection with all these overseers, so the mothership will not be enough here to hold on this time. There are some disruptors, so good Novas could potentially work here as Banelings roll in. They don't quite find the connections. Here desperately trying to get this 4th base up and running.
And he will be able to get it, but it is a much more vulnerable position compared to the 4th base location on top of the ramp there.
I really appreciate what herO is doing as well. After revealing that mothership, he actually hasn't made any Skytoss units. He's making nothing but Archons, Immortals, Disruptors. He's maintaining a ground composition instead. So I think hopefully he was hopefully trying to bait Dark into making Corruptors. He didn't fall for it though. He didn't waste any supplies. He still has plenty of Ling Bane.
Yeah, it looks like that is going to be the case right now. Dark not committing to the meme. This might be the one mothership that lives till the end of the game, because there's just no anti-air here for Dark.
It's true. Definitely could happen, as we do see Dark rotating around, head towards that 3rd base. Instead, Big Nova is gonna go up.
Yeah, catching about half of the army of Dark here, or half the supply anyway. Banelings will get some very juicy connections. Once again, herO is knocked down to only 46 workers. He will not be able to sustain a very sophisticated Protoss army.
Yeah, exactly. As we do see here now, with quite a bit of momentum going his way, he's pushing out across the map. A lot of Ling Bane was spent across the map, and now here he is here to just really force his way through these bases. Boys, they have to be pulled.
They do, but instead Dark is actually pulling back. I'm not sure how, but herO's actually kind of making this work. The Purification Ovas are absolutely juicy. And the slow zones are actually working out for herO. We very rarely see them work out this well, but herO's getting some magic done.
Yeah, he's making the magic happen as he's pushing on through. Again, Dark, he may be ahead in supply, but a lot of that supply is in workers, not in his army. His army, he needs time to rebuild those roaches. He's trying to pull back, he's trying to kite against herO, but herO, he's breaking into these bases.
Such a decisive attack coming out from herO. Things were looking very desperate for quite a while economically, until herO just decided, you know what, I have an army, I'm gonna use it.
Exactly, and here we go, another massive connection on those roaches. The Archons are trying to hold on here. The micro so far so good from herO, but he has to be careful, he's losing quite a lot.
He has, especially worrisome is the fact that he has lost his Disruptor, his Purification Nova machine.
It has gone down, and you can see here he's running out of steam. The mothership goes down, and Dark has, or he's slowly holding. We have more zealots coming in here. He's not done yet. He still has 2 immortals.
He has 2 Immortals, he has a Warp Prism, he has a Disruptor, and he is able to hit another decent Purification Nova. How good is the juggling? There's no more anti-air here for Dark.
There is no more anti-air. The Immortal is barely being saved as well. An Archon goes down. It looks like herO has finally run out of steam. We have another Disruptor rocking in, but there's almost nothing left, and Dark barely holds.
Just barely. Loses a decent number of his drones as well. herO has also been able to take out a base or 2, but yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the army supply difference, and herO, for a while in this game, his one advantage was the fact that he had a bigger army, or not necessarily a bigger army, but a better army. He had that mothership, which I was convinced was going to live till the end of this game, but when the universe says minus 400, minus 400, you better believe it's minus 400, minus 400.
Wasn't quite it in the end. Now, herO, he is struggling to recover. He's got his 4th base, trying to get up and running here. He really doesn't have much of an economy to speak of. Likewise, Dark also sustained quite some heavy losses as well, to be fair. So both players have to back off, but Dark, he just has a better economic position here. He can be the first to remax.
Yeah, as we see already, he's getting pretty dang close to remaxing. He is lacking a little bit when it comes to larva. It really does, you know, it really does go to show how many queens and bases herO is able to take out. 12 probes went down somewhere, and
yeah, 12.
I guess it was a baneling run by.
Yeah, it was a baneling run by here towards the south. Probes did end up falling. Dark is focusing on his push, looking to find a way in. Greater Spire is on the way, and that is a way to really secure his victory here. There is no answer to Broodlords. There is no Skytoss. There are no Blink Stalkers. So Dark has to make a choice. He can either just back off and drone up and saturate his bases and slowly take into Broodlords, or try to end it here and now. I mean, hero's not going to wait for him. Hero's already pushing out.
Yeah. Dark has a choice to make. I mean, as a wise man once said, this game is done. He's just playing.
Let him play, puppy. Let him play. Oh god, as yeah, Dark, he's just backing off again. He's making sure he doesn't overextend or really throw anything away.
And he isn't really. herO doing a pretty good job of baiting out a couple of corrosive vials and juggling the Archons, I think, as best as he can when he's up against an overwhelming force of Zerg like that.
Exactly. We even borrow the Banelings here behind the mineral line as well. herO has to be very careful with that, as he's still focusing on his main push. What do we have to work with? We have 3 Disruptors, 6 Archons, an Immortal. Not a bad army, with the best micro in the world. And if Dark makes some mistakes, then maybe he can win. And to be fair, you know, he does have the best micro in the world, but even then, there's just so much to overcome.
That's contentious, but I think I will agree with you for this scenario. If there was ever a Protoss player who's going to be able to out-micro their way into a victory at such terrible odds, I would bet on herO, definitely. The Broodlords are now out, and the Archons are having a little bit of trouble with them. Charge slots are getting a little bit of damage done here towards the south. They will be able to take out this base at the very least, but the Immortal goes down, those charge slots go down as well. And the juicy units of herO, they will live, but they are on the back foot. They are forced to retreat. Yeah. And there aren't that many of them compared to the army's overwhelming army supply of Dark here.
Well, it's just the Broodlords, right? Like, the Broodlords, they just bully back the army because there is no answer for them. We were talking about it earlier, but this is just a really secure way for Dark to get the win. herO is working on Void Rays as his answer to the Broodlords, but it's a very late transition. It's a very late reaction here to said Broodlords, and now Dark is pushing in.
Yeah, Purification Novas will be sent out, but hardly any of them land. You get one GC connection here, but this is one scenario where one Nova isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, exactly. As the 3rd base has been broken, the Void Rays are arriving, and there is no anti-air, so the Void Rays will eventually clean everything up. But for the most part, Dark, he's not slowing down. He's not stopping. He can keep on pushing, try to break another one of these bases.
Yeah, he doesn't even care about the he doesn't even care about the Void Rays right now or the Brute Lords. He just wants to keep attacking buildings and yeah, really cripple herO here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's too late to turn the Broodlords around because they will all just die anyway, so they have to commit here to the fight. The final mining base of herO is now under threat, and Lingbane is rolling in.
Oof. And they will get yet another super juicy connection. On top of this mineral line, the Archons finally go down, and GG is called. Dark will be tagging us up sideways 1-1 in our best of 3 semifinales.
GG, well played. Dark does tie us up. Ooh, that was a pretty intense push out of herO when he was basically forced all in because he just couldn't hold on to his bases back at home, and he almost broke Dark. He was almost able to break him with that big Archon disruptor push, but Dark was barely able to hold on, had the better economy, had the better base count, and he was able to clean it up from there.
Indeed, he was. And with that, we're going to be getting to our ace match, which is not going to be Altitude, surprisingly. It's going to be Babylon.
It is going to be Babylon. Going to one of the smaller maps in the map pool instead. A map that is kind of known for its aggression, to be honest. We have seen Dark all in many times on this map.
Yeah. He's successful in them almost half the time.
There you go. There you go. So I wonder if he's looking to be as aggressive this time as well, as we are going to be loading into the ace match. Hey, at least we went all the way to game 3.
Yeah. I mean, it would be criminal not to. I'm sure most people are used to this being the finals of a weekly tournament, but, you know, as they have been a little bit absent in these online events, they haven't really been able to sign up. We got to ease them back into it, you know? We can't have them in the best of 5 just yet.
Exactly.
And with that, we're going to be concluding this best of 3 semifinals here on Babylon. We're in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He's going to be representing CranKy Gaming, and apparently Gosu Crew as well. He still hasn't changed his in-game plan. He's had this since like 2018. He is Dark.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. Up.
Oh!
Oh!
He gets the natural.
There you go. Dark does this very often. He's the only pro player that I've seen do this, where he's intentionally delaying his hatchery. He had a drone over at his third base location, but he was just waiting for herO to dip into the main, and it paid off. herO dips in, and then that creates like this very, very small window where Dark can get his natural up and running.
Yeah. It's a very small window, and Dark is one of the few who can fit through it.
There you go. Meanwhile, hopefully everything is okay. Did the game freeze for you then, for a moment?
No.
Oh. Okay. So hopefully everything is stable here. I'm checking my ping. My ping is fine. So hopefully that was just an anomaly as we are getting into the ace match. Oh boy, we've seen again herO both games so far, game 1 and game 2, be willing to transition into Skytoss if he does have an advantage. But we'll see if he can survive that long on Babylon.
Yeah, we'll see if he is able to find that advantage here on Babylon.
Exactly, as for now, he is just going for his gate expand. Pretty standard openers here all around, nothing too crazy. Dark able to get his natural up and running, and is going to be headed towards that third base. Again, it's been too long since I've casted herO versus Dark. Just because of all the Gamers 8 stuff, it's good to see them back once again. And obviously, they had to face off in ESL Asia. They had to.
Oh, naturally. And this is kind of where the pseudo-rivalry started, at least publicly. You know, we don't know what goes on in those practice sessions over at CranKy Gaming, or before that, Dragon Phoenix Gaming.
Yeah, exactly. They just face off week after week in every single one of these online tournaments, and we have a really wild opener here out of herO. Is going to be harassing with his depth, but this is a robo opener, not a Twilight Council or a Stargate.
Yeah. Something very, very different coming out from herO this time. No Void Race whatsoever. Not even any Oracles coming out, so yeah, we'll see where he goes with this. With the Robo Facility, of course, in a PvZ, it is a very versatile opener. You can go for a Warp Prism, like herO is doing right now, and you can try to harass across the map, or you can go into a very fast Immortal production into a Robo Bay for a bit more of a defensive setup.
Yeah, this is looking like a 2-base Sol-In. I'm really curious. I'm really perplexed because from this Robo opener, I expected a Robotics Bay for like a Disruptor drop, but no, herO threw down a really fast Twilight Council instead. So this could even be for like a kind of weird, even like Archon drop with a Dark Shrine, and there it is. We have a Dark Shrine, but a very late Dark Shrine, so very kind of like offbeat and very unorthodox here from herO.
Yeah. Focusing a little bit more on specifically the Archon aspect of it. I don't think he wants to end the game then and there.
I mean, he can. So
but he can.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I love about this, so it looks like he's trying to fake out Glaive Adepts. That's basically what's happening right now. We do have a Spore on the way, thankfully, here in the natural base, but this Dark Shrine is very late, which means that the timing of this Dark Shrine, or the timing of the DTs, is going to be really awkward, and it can catch Dark off guard. He does have Spores in the main as well. His third base is a little bit more exposed, but like, I'm really curious to see how this does play out here for herO as he is looking to expand.
Yeah. You know, just because he has detection doesn't mean he's gonna be prepared to deal with the hidden units coming out from herO. Dark Shrine is seconds away from finishing up, and there we go. 4 DTs are on the way.
Yeah, and again, there's no detection here because the timing is past. The timing is past for DTs, and because that Dark is just woefully unprepared at this third base, DTs have arrived. They can go for the Queens, they can go for the base itself. What do they want to go for? They go for the hatchery. They go for everything.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, he's got a lot of time to work with before this Spore comes in and burrows. Dark doing a pretty good job of body blocking, only losing 1 Queen and 2 drones so far.
Yeah, so DTs do slip into the main base as well, and as you're saying, really good damage so far with these DTs so far. Not a single one has gone down. Good control out of herO. He keeps every single Dark Templar alive, and looking at the Unisource tab, you can see just how efficient herO has been.
Yeah, zero losses so far compared to the 3 Queens, 7 Lings, and 3 drones of Dark. I'm kind of surprised that herO decided to only make 1 Archon here, but it kind of makes sense. You know, he has 1 Archon to harass in the main base, and he goes in with the DTs over in the third base. Unfortunately for him, Dark did decide to reposition that Spore Crawler, so not the most ideal situation.
Yeah, as back at home, we now have an Immortal. A couple of probes are being caught out, but we have plenty of adepts back at home to defend. herO is successfully getting his third base up and running, and he's successfully getting damage done across the map as he catches another one of these Overlords. Meanwhile, Dark is crazy. He is going straight to a Spire.
Might as well. It's one way of dealing with the Warp Prism.
Okay, very interesting stuff here out of Dark. Very risky maneuver as well. Blink is on the way, so herO will have anti-air available, but we'll see if he is able to come across that Spire at all.
Yeah, so far Dark's doing a really good job of keeping that hidden. I mean, Babylon is a base where, funnily enough, your natural base is less vulnerable than your main to air-based harass like this.
Exactly, as the Archons are able to take down one of those tumors, able to, again, just keep keep Dark busy. herO hasn't been able to head towards that natural base yet, but we have an observer on the way. Does check the gases, and is he going to check behind the mineral line? He will!
He will be able to confirm what's coming his way. Robo Bay is mid-production, or is in the midst of being produced right now for herO, and he knows that it's not necessarily going to be too useful as the game continues, so he is just going for a little bit of an assault here, just trying to see what damage he can get done.
I mean, he knows he has the advantage because Dark invested into these mutas, and the mutas are not going to help it defensively back at home. We have so many Archons, so many Blink Stalkers as well. The mutas are going to be almost dead supply here as herO is pushing in.
Yeah, really good concave code out from Dark. He will be able to chase us back at least for now, but this is a very beefy Protoss army that herO has. Dark trying to come in from 3 angles.
Up.
But we'll see if it ends up working out. The Warp Prism will go down, so already a really nice pick off here for Dark. Mutalisks are surprisingly not going to die just yet. Dark is able to take out a decent number of Archons right now.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at the unit slots tab there, that was 1 Immortal, 3 Archons, and the Prism going down. So very nicely done out of Dark. Very nice use of those mutas. They weren't really going to help in the main fight overall. So to snipe that Prism was a very, very good pick off. And now he gets across the map. Again, there aren't that many mutas to really threaten the bases, but at least Dark survives.
Yeah, and as we all know, survival is half the battle.
It is half of the battle as we do see herO just transitioning. We've got +2 on the way. No 4th base yet, which is concerning. He's at least denying the 4th of Dark, and that's a kill, not a cancel. But he does need his own.
Yeah, technically the Protoss player will be at an advantage if they're on even bases, but 3 base or triple Nexus is barely enough to really sustain a late game Protoss army.
Yeah, exactly. And as a result, I would say that herO is ahead right now. He was able to do some nice damage across the map. He now has his 4th base on the way, on par with the 4th of Dark. And herO, of course, has the better worker count as well. Up.
As we can see.
Yeah, exactly.
herO once again just being active on the map with these Blink Stalkers, seeing what he can snipe.
Yeah, and actually
going for a... I was just gonna say Dark going for a double expand just to make sure he can get at least 1 4th base up and running.
Exactly, and we do see one of those bases is going to be cancelled. Lings are coming in for a surround, and a recall will save most of these Stalkers, but one gets left behind, and it will be hunted down. But yeah, as we see, herO doing a great job of being active on the map. He was sniping Ravagers on the right-hand side, so very high value pickoffs once again, and here we go, he's going for another big push.
And this time Dark is not in position to really deal with it, but he is in position to potentially go for a surround.
As the Novas are going off, mutas coming from behind the mutas, they go down instantly. The Immortals are a little bit exposed, but here we go, we blink on forward, we dive on top of the exposed Ravagers. GG gets called. Dark has nothing left, and herO takes the series.
GG. Well played coming out here from herO. A nice back and forth series that we've had between the two, which is about what we expected.
Yeah, like it was such a quirky build, a quirky opener from herO to go for like a really late and really off timing DT counterattack or DT drop, which did so much damage. On top of that, upon scouting the Spire, he knew that Dark would be vulnerable. He knew that now would be the time to attack because Dark would be investing into those Mutalisks. And herO, even though he didn't kill Dark then and there, he was still able to trade very well nonetheless, sniping bases left and right, and he went for the kill maneuver towards the end. So yeah, herO was almost in full control that entire game 3.
Pretty much. I mean, Dark was kind of in control at the start, but then the Dark Shine finished up, and after that, it became a whole different story once he got caught off guard.
Yeah, very nicely done. And with that, herO advances on to the grand finals, where he's going to be facing off against another opponent. Do we have a challenger? Do we have a next series?
Not just yet, but we do know that it is potentially going to be a mirror match. We'll see how it goes. It is going to be either Classic or Gumiho.
Ooh, yeah, so Classic and Gumiho are facing off in the upper semi-finals. I believe that is not being casted by an English stream, unfortunately, but that is being casted by TKL, the French caster.